Well, it's going to be called Big Noon Kickoff each Saturday, debuting here August 31st. Each Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, Big Noon Kickoff. Urban Meyer, Reggie Bush, Brady Quinn, Matt Leinart, Rob Stone. Urban Meyer, 3 national championships, 12-3 in bowl games, 187 wins, 32 losses. And remember, he took over programs that were not flying high. He rebuilt programs. He is joining us via the Coward Global Satellite Network. Right, Urban, you can't talk about college football without getting to the SEC. In the footprint of that conference, there's a lot of great athletes and a lot of players, and Alabama and Georgia right now are the favorites. You've looked at a lot of film over the last couple of weeks. Bama, Georgia. Do you give an edge to either team? Both have pro-level quarterbacks, Fromm and Tua, both going to end up in the NFL. We have 2 excellent coaches. When you look at Bama, Georgia, what do you see?
Well, I see the 2 top teams in the SEC, obviously, and all you got to do is look at the recruiting the last few years. However, you see LSU making a big push with the senior quarterback coming back, Joe Burrow, who I actually saw the other day, and he looks fantastic, loves his team. And I think what Dan Mullen's done at Florida, he's as good a quarterback coach as I've ever been around. He has what he thinks is extremely talented guy in Frank's big, tall guy that it's time for him to, put up those kind of numbers. Their only weakness could be the offensive line. So it's Alabama, Georgia. The key now is every coach gets ready for camp is stay healthy. Who stays healthy through 2 days? In my mind, Alabama, Georgia will be the front runner in that conference.
I was very critical of Nick Saban, who is a great coach, but Alabama controls 3 or 4 games on their schedule. Nick's got control until last week when they scheduled Wisconsin. I don't see him going on a road enough for big games. I think there's a responsibility as a great program to do it. You went to USC. You went to Oklahoma. You would go on the road regularly. I think you went to Texas. Your philosophy was, Virginia Tech. You took some big swings on the road early. Why did you do it?
Well, I let Gene Smith handle the scheduling. We had a very similar philosophy because we were told and was very clear that strength of schedule is going to be a key contributor of who goes to the college football playoff. And I'm not sure, that's a debate that fan bases have had, coaches have had, and the scheduling is not the same. However, I was also in the SEC. And when I was in the SEC, I got very defensive. We did play Florida State home and away every other year. However, when you just look at that conference top to bottom, that is the strongest conference. So I can understand it. But however, you're seeing attendance, especially with students, start to decline. Scheduling is going to be important. You saw Alabama schedule home and away with Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So and Gene Smith, and I talked to him today, he sees the same thing. He sees big teams because of fan base and also just it's the right thing to do, starting to schedule some home and aways.
When you you don't watch a lot of NFL. You've told me that. You're a college guy through and through. There are a number of great programs. In my lifetime, the 10 best programs never all have the right coach. There's 5 of them are humming, 3 of them are, 2 of them aren't working, and there are a couple of big programs right now. USC's a little uneven. There's a lot of pressure on that coaching staff. You have never gone into a year as a coach probably on the hot seat, but I bet you've had friends and coordinators who have. If you're a program right now, a big dog, a USC, and you got to win early or you and your staff are in trouble, how do you think that plays for a team like USC, which has that burden on top of them to win early or else?
Well, I think that all falls on the head coach. And I have been in situations, maybe it wasn't on the outside, but it was on the inside. In 2013, we actually won 24 straight games, but lost 2 at the end of the season. And then we lost our second game to Virginia Tech. So that's 3 out of 4. And I felt it, maybe not from the outside, but certainly on the inside. And it's very important because everyone's looking at you. And Jimmy Johnson, you heard it the other day at the seminar, the Fox seminar, is that when you're a coordinator or you're an assistant walking down the hallway, it really doesn't matter. When you're the head coach, everybody is aware you're around. So how you conduct yourself, the confidence level, the urgency, those are all characteristics of a head coach. And if you're on a hot seat, it's certainly even if you have to play, act a little bit, you have to show some confidence. You have to give that team something to strive for, and that's the job of a head coach.
I think it's the year of the quarterback in college football. Lawrence at Clemson, Fromm at Georgia, Justin Herbert at Oregon, Tua at Alabama. I want to talk about Tua. There's a little Russell Wilson component here. He runs around. He is a very difficult guy to get a read on. How do you defend what we see more and more of in college? Quarterbacks that can run as well as throw. How would you defend Tua at Alabama?
First of all, I'm very biased. I think it's hard to defend, if not impossible to defend. You have to just keep it in front of you, because if a quarterback executes the RPO or double or triple option, not the wishbone double or triple option, but what they do at Alabama and what we do at Ohio State and other places is that the quarterback actually has three options. He can read a down lineman and run or give. And then once he pulls, he can also throw the ball. So it's really a variation of triple option. And if executed, very, very hard to defend if everybody does their job. So the question always remains, how many times do you allow a guy like Tua, and Ryan Day is going to have the same issue at Ohio State, how many times do you allow that player to get hit? Because you're a sprained ankle away from potentially ruining your season.
Finally, you look at the Big Ten. My gut, I tend to look at offensive lines. I think Michigan has a very good offensive line. When you look at the Big Ten, and I know you just coached Ohio State, a lot of criticism to Harbaugh. Haven't won enough big games. Do you feel this is a breakthrough year? He's finally got the offensive line. Jim likes that offensive guy. Do you feel like this is the special year finally for Harbaugh?
This will be the best offensive line they've had. They have an excellent coach and Warner, and the guys have been back. They're big. I noticed the sizes of the guys. I remember them last year, and they were much better last year, and most of them, I think 4 out of 5 are back. That's been their weakness on offense. However, they're changing. Here's what they have. They have 3 legitimate high draft picks at receiver that, just have not been given those opportunities. They brought in a new coordinator to do that. So it remains on how they're going to transition from a pro style to a spread. Will it be a true spread? And that often takes time. That takes time to grow, and will Coach Harbaugh allow them the time to grow? It's ironic that this could be their best offense, yet they lose some really, really good players on defense, but they're always going to be good on defense.
Yeah. Urban Meyer, 12-3 in bowl game show is going to be called the Big Noon Kickoff, August 31st. It debuts. You can smell football. It's around the corner. Urban, it was great seeing you a couple of nights ago at the seminar. Great seeing you again.
Yeah, good seeing you, Colin.
All right. Yeah, I actually think, it's funny. Michigan's a great brand, obviously. I think Jim Harbaugh finally, it takes a while. It just takes a while. I think Harbaugh's finally got his team. Now, I thought it was going to be a little bit last year, but Shea Patterson, first year as a starter. Now it's a second year. They've got 3 NFL offensive linemen. They've got high-end. I think Michigan's got their team. I mean, to me, there's about 5 teams with a chance to really play for the national title. Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Washington, Michigan. To me, that feels like the best 5. Those are the 5. The schedules work out. The quarterback works out. The coach works out. The conference, they'll finish at the top. They've got some easy home games, winnable road games. Those 5 feel like it to me. That's what it feels like. Big Noon Kickoff, Urban Meyer. Great to have you in. Chris Sims, Greg Jennings, Greg Cosell all stop by. We have a, I'm not going to give it away yet. Very rarely, this does not happen in the NFL much, where a great player, not a good player, a great NFL player is available. Okay? And that great player plays a key position. And there is a Super Bowl level team that is only missing a left tackle, which this player plays, and it could elevate them to the Super Bowl. Trent Williams wants out of Washington. Houston, really, in my opinion, only needs a left tackle. That is the albatross. That's the liability. That is the hole for Houston. They won 11 games last year. We're bad up front. Washington has the player he wants out. Houston needs the player. Washington's looking to rebuild around Dwayne Haskins. I got a feeling we could have a deal here. Houston, Texans, and Redskins coming up.